Welcome back to What the Flick. I'm Matt, that's Alonzo, that's Christy. You might remember a few weeks ago we talked about the Revenge trailer. Since then, Alonzo and Christy have actually seen it. I didn't really bother to see it because I missed it in the rundown, so I didn't take the time to see it. But they're gonna tell you how it is.
Yeah, it's pretty great, and I have to admit that I was really dreading watching it because even though the trailer looked kind of interesting and even though it had amazing reviews and amazing word of mouth, I sort of felt like I don't really want to watch a rape revenge fantasy. You know, I just at this time, we've been talking about this topic so much with Me Too and Time's Up, I cannot bear it. And I'm so glad I watched it because it completely upends all your expectations of this kind of film. And it was written and directed by a woman, Coralie Fargeat, a French filmmaker making her feature debut. And it's intense, but it completely changes how you will feel about this kind of movie. Real quick, Matilda Lutz stars as a beautiful young woman who goes on a romantic getaway with her very wealthy, very married boyfriend. And then his friends show up a day early for a hunting trip, and things get ugly from there. Take a look.
Stan Dimitri, my associates.
Hi.
So this movie has incredible style, and tonally, I love what she does with the kind of male gaze that you expect a woman who looks like Matilda Lutz to be shot with in a movie like this ordinarily, or in any movie.
Yeah.
And Coralie Fargeat, she takes it and she upends it and she co-opts it and instead makes it a celebration of a woman who reemerges and transforms herself into a warrior.
Right, and I mean, we've seen a lot of films like this from male directors. You know, I Spit on Your Grave, Ms. 45, and those films have, you know, things to recommend about them, and they do some interesting things. But yeah, I did appreciate the fact that, for instance, the rape, when it occurs in this movie, is not dwelled upon in a way that the other movies, I think, felt the need to like give you that moment, and this one is like, we can imply it and work around it, and it's just as effective. And the fact that, you know, the men's bodies are also subject to that same camera look. Like there are long sequences in which the married boyfriend is naked in the film. You know, it blew me away. This is such a great genre movie. Like, she gets this sort of like nitty gritty. It's really stylish, but super gory and really tense, and you don't always know how it's going to work out or how they're going to get past this one hurdle, you know, this physical challenge or this, you know, sort of geographical issue, because it's all like they're out in the middle of the desert. I was on the edge of my seat. It does all the things that you want a movie like this to do.
Yeah, it's paced really, really well. It's edited well. I love the way it's shot. There's like a really intense kind of high contrast between what she is wearing, Jen, Matilda Lutz's character. I mean, you first see her, she's in like little bitty half shirts and panties, and they're all like candy colors of pink and blue, and she's really girly, and she knows how to use her femininity and her sexuality to get attention. And as she transforms, as she taps into resourcefulness she had no idea she had, her look changes, the landscape changes. The sound design is really cool in terms of, it's really heightened. At moments that should be quiet, there'll be blood dripping onto the dirt of the desert, and it sounds like gunfire. It's like,
or just like the sound of like your blood rushing in your ears, like your heart beating, you know, in moments of intensity. The house where this film sort of begins and ends, they use really well as a set in terms of finding all the sort of cinematic potential for it. Yeah, this is exciting and just gripping and gross and great.
And this is not a spoiler because clearly it's a revenge film.
Yes.
It's called Revenge. She goes after the person who rapes her and the other guys. And one thing that I noticed is that the way she gets revenge on them, each person, there is some form of penetration. What she does to them. Again, this is not a spoiler. You know, I'm not going to tell you how it goes down, but with each person, there's like, she's entering them now.
Right. Well, and also she, you know, and I think it's in the trailer, like she gets this like Saint Sebastian wound in her side, you know, that then sort of becomes a recurring motif for other people. There are interesting, there's just things about like the masculine versus the feminine in ways of like how wounds are treated or what's on the television. Like there's just little things that are thrown in that I thought were really smart. They don't call excessive attention to themselves, but they're there if you know, for those with eyes to look.
Yeah.
And it's just, but it's gripping and it totally delivers on on an action level.
Yeah, and yeah, there you mentioned some of the symbolism in it. Some of it's a little obvious.
Sure.
There is stuff with an apple that she goes back to over and over again, which might be a little obvious.
The beer can.
The beer, yeah, what happened with the beer can is kind of cool, but again, maybe a little literal and a little obvious.
A touch on the nose.
But then one of the three guys, in trying to hunt her down, she's hunting him down, gets a gash in the bottom of his foot.
Go.
God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Cringing. But and he has to fish glass out of it. The gash looks like a vagina.
Oh, so it does.
Yeah. No, this cannot be a coincidence.
No. Now that you say it, I'm like, yeah.
It's gushing blood and it is vagina shaped and anyway.
Yeah.
You're gonna get mad and say I'm spoiling it all. There is so much to be
trust me.
Here.
We barely scratched the surface on this thing.
There is so much to be discovered here, and we should mention the people who were in it. Yes, Matilda Lutz is amazing. It's a really physical role.
Yes.
I'm sure it was a very emotionally demanding role. Nothing that she had done previously would have suggested that she had this in her.
Farjah, by the way, you mentioned the editing, co-edited the film with 2 other guys.
There you go. A female editor like Anne B. Coates. And Kevin Jansen's is the jerk wealthy boyfriend and his 2 buddies who show up for a hunting weekend because none of them have any regard for life at all. They're there with like massively high-powered weapons to go hunting. Anyway, Vincent Colombe and Guillaume Bouched, pardon me. And yeah, there's a sense of tension from the very start, the way they're like sizing her up as prey, but then the hunted becomes the hunter. It's pretty great. I know it sounds like a tough sell, but just please trust us on this. You think you don't want to see this movie, but you do.
Absolutely, and it's streaming this weekend in addition to opening in theatrically. So
yeah, you can watch starting Friday at home. So my number is 8.9.
8.5. I had a blast, and yeah, I too was sort of like, but ooh, I'm glad I saw it.
Our number is an 8.7. It's at 91% on the tomato meter, so pretty high. It is in French and English. And yeah, you can watch it right now at your home, so please do. Thanks, bye.